This page is the front cover of the Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Master's Guide, Episode 4. The cover art showcases several characters, including a female RA cast wielding a photon saber in the foreground, a FOMAR or FO New Earl character at the top left, a HU cast at the top right, and a RMR or RACA seal character behind them. The Japanese text also states, Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Master's Guide Episode 4. It's published by SoftBank Publishing Dorimaga and edited by Cubist. This page showcases a large illustration of the female RA cast character featured on the front cover, posed with her photon saber. The background is a stylized red design, with circular patterns containing repeating text, which seems to read, The Great Illuminati. At the bottom, the page displays the title, PSO-BB Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Master's Guide Episode 4, in both English and Japanese text, suggesting this is an introductory page or title page inside the guidebook after the front cover. This page presents the table of contents for the PSO-BB Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Master's Guide, Episode 4. It's organized into 4 main chapters. Chapter 1, Tactics, covers battle strategies, basic knowledge, field mechanics, and enemy-specific tactics. Chapter 2, Strategy, Map and Quest, delves into quest structure, map and quest strategies, and area maps from crater to underground lake, including specific routes and areas within. Chapter 3, Data, focuses on game data, listing rare weapons, armor, units, and synthesized MAGs. Finally, Chapter 4, Drop List, details drop information, including Section ID, drop items for Episode 4, Episode 1, and Episode 2, and rare item reverse lookup. There's also a section for main character relationship diagram and glossary towards the end. The page numbers for each section are listed on the right side. At the bottom, there are column sections with titles like Get Special Benefits by Joining a Team and Conquer the Control Tower. This page details the story of a meteor approaching planet Ragal, where Pioneer 2 Station is also located. Initially, analyses indicated no collision danger for either Ragal or Pioneer 2. However, a mysterious beam of light was fired from Ragal's surface, striking the meteor and altering its course. Subsequently, the meteor impacted Ragal, creating a massive crater. Strangely, this crater also began emitting a mysterious light. Hunters are tasked with investigating this unexplained event, leading them to descend into the enigmatic crater to uncover the truth. The images illustrate these story points, starting with the meteor approaching, the beam hitting it, the impact, and the resulting crater emitting light. This guide provides essential tips for new players in Phantasy Star Online. Characters include humans, Numans, high TP, and androids. Techniques, traps, HP regen. Section IDs affect item drops. Items include mags, stat boosts, photon blasts, units, stat enhancements, and weapons with photon attributes, elemental damage, and special abilities. Photon drops, Episode 2, and enemy parts, crafting, are also discussed, along with item synthesis. Action palette allows for customizable attacks, normal, heavy, and extra, elemental. Photon blasts, PB, provide powerful effects and are charged by dealing and taking damage. Divide boosts party PB, enabling chained PBs for amplified effects. Other tips include the visual lobby for party formation, teams for cooperative play, guild cards for sharing information, rush events with multiple enemy waves, no damage cancel for flinching, and delay for timed attacks. This page, number 1, is about tactics or battle tactics in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Episode 4. The page features 3 character illustrations. In the foreground is a human-like female character with a beret holding a pistol. In the background to the left is a blue-skinned character with silver hair holding a sword weapon with a green blade. And to the right is a reddish character with spiky hair holding a pistol. The page title confirms this is part of the Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Master's Guide. This guide provides essential battle tactics for Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst adventurers, particularly in party settings. Prioritizing enemy elimination is crucial for efficient gameplay. Focus on eliminating dangerous enemies first, such as Zoe and Gola types, before weaker foes like Rappies and Lizards. For mid-bosses, clear surrounding enemies before engaging. Enemy priority varies by area. Crater. Zoa-type Astak, Babuta Zibuma and Buta greater than Rapaya-type Lizard type. And Underground Desert. Zoe-type Golan greater than Detonator. Melissa-type greater than Piro Golan, and Golan greater than Rapaya-type Lizard type. The guide also recommends using the lock-on-off technique to increase movement speed. Disabling lock-on, either through the menu, shortcut window, or action palette customization, enables faster evasion and repositioning. The guide emphasizes the importance of these tactics for survival and success in combat. This page is about understanding how to fight with each class in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. It details specific battle tactics for the Hunter, Ranger, and Force classes. For Hunters, the strategy is to use delay and side attacks effectively. When enemies guard after being hit, Hunters should delay their next attack to avoid counterattacks and aim for the enemy's side. The page illustrates attack patterns with images and input examples, including normal attacks, N, and heavy attacks, H, in sequence, and moving to the side of the enemy. Rangers are advised to use a hit-and-away fighting style from a distance. Using rifles and attacking from outside the enemy's range is key. The guide suggests using elemental weapons to exploit enemy weaknesses and lists recommended elements. Charge for high damage, Arrest for support, Hell/Demon for high HP enemies, and King for level grinding. Forces need to adapt their techniques to the situation. It's important to set up palettes and shortcuts efficiently. The page recommends placing attack techniques on the main palette and support/recovery techniques on the back palette. For shortcuts, frequently used attack techniques should be at the top and less frequent ones below. Example palettes and shortcuts with techniques like Rabarda, Grants, Zalur, and Jelen are shown. The guide explains that this setup allows for easy switching to support techniques and even lock-off combat by just flipping the palette. The page features character art and in-game screenshots to illustrate the tactics for each class. The next page is about party play and emphasizes the importance of teamwork in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. It details the main roles of each class. Hunter as the main attacker, adapting weapons to enemy numbers. Ranger also as an attacker but with support skills like Bind and Panic. And Force as support and recovery, using techniques like Shifta and Zalur to weaken enemies. The page then explains effective party play tactics. One tactic is drawing aggro, where one player lures enemies while the others, especially forces, prepare to attack. Forces should use Zalur and Jelen to weaken enemies during this tactic. Another tactic is chaining with Photon Blast for increased effectiveness, especially with Myzilla and Eula, mentioning that a 4-chain can significantly boost level gain, and even a 3-chain with debuffs is very effective. Finally, the page describes a strategy for efficient experience point gain called Tezuke. This method suggests that even a single attack on an enemy will grant you 80% of the experience points, even if another player finishes it off. Even 0 damage attacks will count. It recommends attacking multiple enemies beforehand, and then focusing fire on single targets to maximize experience. Force techniques like Zalur and Jelen are highlighted as very useful for Tezuke, and it's recommended for forces to conserve TP for this purpose. For Tezuke, Rangers are suggested to use shots and forces to use wide-range techniques, while Hunters are good for finishing blows. This page is about using traps in combat and mastering lobby actions in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. It explains that traps are useful for inflicting damage and status effects on enemies, and are mainly used by androids. There are 3 types of traps detailed: damage traps, which deal damage; confuse traps that confuse enemies, making them attack allies; and freeze traps, which freeze enemies completely, making them unable to act, especially useful against strong foes. The page suggests using trap combinations for effective combat. The lower half of the page covers lobby actions, which are shortcuts using the Alt key to perform various poses. These actions, initially only for visual lobbies, are now usable in Regal during quests from PSOBB onwards, accessible via shortcuts. It highlights that only shortcut-activated lobby actions are available during quests, and the lobby action menu cannot be opened. There's a table listing various lobby actions categorized as normal, emotion, acrobatics, entertainment, and photon chair actions, detailing the Alt key combinations for each, like Alt plus H for a one-handed wave, Alt plus B for a two-handed wave, Alt plus D for Japanese-style wave, and so on for emotions such as sorry, yeah, frustrated. Acrobatics like side roll, forward roll, back roll, and entertainment poses and photon chair poses. The page also notes that in visual lobbies only, Shift plus shortcut enables special actions, and photon chairs are exclusive to visual lobbies. This page is about field mechanisms and traps in Episode 4 that players should be aware of before exploring. It mentions that there are 14 types of field mechanisms, some that damage players and some that help players. Knowing their shapes and roles is crucial, especially for traps that can inflict status ailments or damage, which can be difficult to avoid as difficulty increases. The page details specific examples of these mechanisms. There are item boxes, which come in two types. Container boxes found around craters that yield items and meseta when broken, and crystal boxes found in underground sand dunes. Crystal boxes also contain items, but some are just objects and can be ignored. Sabotin, or cacti, cause damage upon touch and momentarily halt player actions, making fighting near them dangerous despite the low damage. Lastly, kaminari, or landmines, stick to the player's head and explode, acting as traps. Androids can detect these using trap vision. Episode 4 introduces several hazards. Darkness impairs visibility, increasing ambush risk. Bee nests release paralyzing bees, but destroying the nest eliminates them. Poison. Flowers poison on contact and are indestructible. Garters, also indestructible, spew poison. Terrain traps include quicksand, slowing movement, and antlion pits that teleport you to a damaging room. Poison mist rooms drain HP over time. Shining stones offer safe zones. Underground Sand Dune 3 features lava areas with damaging, knockdown causing fireballs, and falling rocks that drop from above, inflicting damage and knockdowns. This guide focuses on enemy tactics in Phantasy Star Online Blue Bursts Episode 4, covering 9 enemy systems with 18 variations. It provides information on understanding enemy data, including names, locations, attributes, attack patterns at different ranges, and specific actions. Visual representations and battle tactics tailored to hunters, rangers, and forces are also detailed, emphasizing exploiting enemy weaknesses. The guide also presents enemy parameters that vary across difficulty levels: normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate, including HP, attack, defense, accuracy, evasion, luck, elemental resistances, and express. Each stat's impact on combat is explained. Examples, such as Booma variations, illustrate the presented information. The key takeaway is the importance of understanding enemy behavior and utilizing appropriate class-specific strategies for effective combat. The next page introduces the Booma family of enemies that inhabit the crater area and are of the native attribute. It details their attack patterns at close, medium, and long ranges for each Booma type: Booma, Z-Booma, and Babooma. The page provides combat tactics for each class. Hunters are advised to keep distance against Babooma, rangers are encouraged to use ranged attacks, and forces can exploit the Booma family's weakness to fire and lightning techniques. There's also a table listing the parameters for each Booma variation across different difficulty levels, including stats like HP, attack power, defense, accuracy, evasion, luck, elemental resistances, and experience points. Finally, screenshots show each class engaging in combat with Booma-type enemies. This page introduces the Golan family of enemies, which are dark attribute creatures found in the underground desert area. These enemies are characterized by their flexible hand blades and teleportation abilities. The page details the attack patterns for Golan, Pylogolan, and Golan Detonator at close, medium, and long ranges, noting they use sweeping attacks and teleportation, especially when approached directly. They use extended hand blades for medium range and warp for long range. The Golan Detonator is noted to have a wider attack range. For combat tactics, hunters are advised to use machine guns or rifles from mid-range, keeping a distance and being mindful of instant movements. Rangers should also engage from a safe distance with rifles, using hit-and-run tactics, especially in normal and hard difficulties, where shotguns can be effective against groups. Forces are recommended to use hit-and-away tactics from long range, exploiting their elemental weaknesses with techniques before they get into melee range, as close combat is dangerous. Finally, there's a parameters table showing the stats for each Golan type across normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate difficulties, covering HP, attack, defense, accuracy, evasion, luck, resistances, and experience points. Screenshots on the page show each class fighting against Golan-type enemies in gameplay scenarios. The next page introduces the Dolphon family of enemies, which are native attribute creatures found in the crater area, both around and inside. These enemies, including the Dolphon and the rare Dolphon Eclair, are described as mid-boss types that appear in the crater area. The page details their attack patterns at different ranges. At close range, both Dolphon and Dolphon Eclair use kicks and shockwaves. In mid-range, they use charge attacks and shockwaves. And the Eclair also uses grants. They don't have long-range attacks listed. It's noted that they have very high HP, are resistant to knockback, and never flinch, making them quite formidable opponents. For combat tactics, hunters are advised to not stop attacking, using machine guns or rifles while leading them into obstacles. Freezing is ineffective, but hold and demon elements are useful. Rangers are warned about damage from mid-range charge attacks, recommending leading them into obstacles and attacking with machine guns or rifles from a distance. Forces should weaken them with debuffing techniques, and then engage in close combat with techniques, being mindful that shockwaves might not hit if you are too close. Finally, there is a parameters table showing the stats for Dolphon and Dolphon Eclair across normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate difficulties. The table includes HP, attack, defense, accuracy, evasion, luck, resistances, EX resistance, and experience points. Screenshots show gameplay of each class fighting against Dolphon enemies. Sand Rappies and Del Rappies, native enemies found in the crater area, share identical beak attack patterns. Del Rappies are dark attribute. Hunters should use close-range attacks, circling to avoid beak attacks, and can use handguns for guaranteed item drops by shooting them after playing dead. Rangers should utilize mid-range attacks with shotguns to prevent Rappies from fleeing, as long-range attacks cause them to run. Forces can use FA-based techniques to defeat them. A parameter table provides stats, HP, attack, defense, etc., for both types of Rappies across normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate difficulties, detailing their effectiveness and resistances. This page details the lizard-type enemy, specifically the satellite lizard and yowie, which are native enemies found in crater areas and underground deserts. These enemies are immune to indirect attacks from the front. The page breaks down their attack patterns by range, showing both satellite lizard and yowie use bubble attacks at close range, with no attacks at mid or long range. There's a section on tactics for each class. Hunters are advised to use strong attacks head-on. Rangers should use melee weapons and flank to attack from the side or back, using traps to inflict status effects. Forces are told that lizard-type enemies are weak to fire and lightning, and to use techniques continuously while being mindful of bubble attacks, noting that melee attacks from heart-type weapons are effective. Finally, there's a parameter table showing stats like HP, attack, defense, resistances, and express for satellite lizards and yowies across normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate difficulties. This page introduces the zoo-type and buzzes enemies, both native types that appear in crater areas and underground deserts. Zoo's attack patterns include Fwa at close range and a glide laser at mid-range, while buzzes also use Fwa at close range and glide laser at mid-range. Buzzes are aerial enemies that ignore terrain and move around in circles. They use glide lasers which can stun and damage you. When they get close, they descend to a lower altitude and unleash Fwa magic in 3 directions. For combat tactics, hunters are advised to use machine guns and attack head-on, being careful of glide attacks and lasers after 2 aerial circles. Rangers should use rifles to snipe them from a distance, exploiting their large search range and luring them in for glide attack opportunities. Forces should note their weakness to ice and use ice techniques like Rabarda before they can cast Fwa, or use grants as another weakness if they miss the initial attack. There's also a parameter table detailing their stats like HP, attack, defense, and resistances across different difficulty settings. This page introduces the Melissa family of enemies, specifically Melissa A, and its rare variant, Melissa A, both classified as A beasts found in the underground desert areas. These enemies specialize in ice-based attacks. Their attack patterns are consistent, utilizing Jabarda from long range and body attacks at mid-range, which are guaranteed to knock you down. At close range, they use stabbing attacks that can freeze you, and they also jump to evade lock-on and get behind you. For combat strategies, hunters should exploit openings in their close-range body attacks and stabs, suggesting machine guns from a safe distance outside of Jabarda range. Rangers should use hit-and-run tactics, being wary of Jabarda as they approach, and aiming for jump landing spots to attack from behind at close range. Forces are advised to leverage their weaknesses to lightning and light attributes, using techniques like Razond and grants. Due to their slower movement, forces can move unlocked to gather enemies and then use slicer weapons effectively. The page also includes a parameter table detailing their stats like HP, attack power, and resistances across normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate difficulty levels. Screenshots on the page show these Melissa enemies in action within the game environment. The Astarch is a close-range A-beast enemy found in crater areas. Its attacks vary with distance: foot stamps at long range, a 5-punch flurry at mid-range, and poison breath up close. Punches also grant it a shift buff, increasing attack. Combat strategies differ by class. Hunters should dodge and exploit openings after punch flurries, or bait punches in close combat to attack from behind. Rangers should use ranged attacks, or dodge punches and attack from the side. Forces should fight at mid-range, dodging punches and using machine guns. If the Astarch uses Shifta, use Gelin to counter. Difficulty-based stats are available, alongside screenshots of in-game battles. This page details the enemy Gilta Bull, a dark attribute monster found in the underground desert. Gilta Bull's attack patterns change with distance. At long range, it inhales to pull players closer. In mid-range, it uses techniques, and at close range, it attacks with scythes and stronger techniques. The element of its technique attacks depends on its eye color: red for fire, blue for ice, and yellow for thunder. For combat strategies, hunters should focus on ice resistance to counter freezing attacks and use machine guns at close range. Bind attacks can help, but DM-type attacks are ineffective. Rangers are advised to attack Gilta Bull's body from close range, as its arms are highly defensive at long range. Exploit openings after its close-range technique attacks to target its eyes and seal its actions. Piercing weapons can damage the body even when targeting the arms. Forces should aim for an instant kill with Megid due to Gilta Bull's high HP, and use techniques at long or mid-range, exploiting elemental weaknesses matching its eye color, while avoiding close range due to freezing attacks. Utilizing obstacles is suggested to prevent being pulled in by its inhale attack. The page also provides parameters for Gilta Bull across different difficulties: normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate, showing the increase in HP, attack power, defense, and resistances as difficulty rises. There are also screenshots showing hunters, rangers, and forces in battle against Gilta Bull. This page is all about teams and the benefits you get from joining one in PSOBB. It highlights that teams are a great way to play with friends and make adventuring more enjoyable. Being in a team lets you chat with members, even when you're far apart, and share items. There are different roles within a team: master, leader, and common member. The master has full control, managing members and buying team perks. Leaders can invite new members, and common members can use the basic team features. The page emphasizes team points, which you earn by trading in rare weapons. You can then use these points to purchase cool team benefits, like a custom team flag to show off your group's identity, or a dressing room, which is a special area for team members. Other benefits include expanding the maximum team size, and even team-exclusive quests and items like the owner's baton. It also gives a rough idea of how many points you get for rare items. For example, a 9-star item is worth 1 point, a 10-star item is 10 points, and an 11-star item is 50 points. There are screenshots showing the team flag and dressing room in action, and also an example of items you can exchange for team points. This page introduces Section 2, which is focused on maps and quests and their strategies. It features character artwork of a female character in purple outfit holding bladed weapons in the foreground, and a translucent version in a red outfit in the background, with a robot figure also in the background. This page details the quest mechanics in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst, explaining there are 2 main ways to play: undertaking quests with specific objectives, and free exploration, called diving without a suit. To start an adventure, you create a room and select Normal Adventure Mode, especially for Episode 4, which was added in May 2005. You can then choose between standard quests, team-based quests, or simple exploration. To play quests, set the scenario to EPIV and the mode to Normal Adventure. For a more challenging experience when creating a room, it's recommended to set the difficulty to HRD or higher. To access quests, talk to the appropriate counter, and for free exploration, use the transporters. Challenge and battle modes for EPIV were planned for future updates. The page also specifies level requirements for creating or joining Episode 4 rooms based on difficulty. Normal has no level requirement, Hard requires level 40 or above, Very Hard level 70 or above, and Ultimate level 110 or above. Finally, it introduces Governor General quests, story-driven quests from the Governor General. These quests focus on the narrative, where hunters investigate mysterious lights and a meteor fall on Regal. These quests have fixed maps and enemy placements, making them ideal for focused item hunting. The screenshots show in-game scenes with characters like Kiriko and Sue, highlighting the story progression within these quests. Team-dedicated quests, purchasable for 3,000 team points, offer team members increased rare boss appearance rates that reset monthly. Diving without a suit allows free exploration of crater areas and the underground desert with randomized enemy and terrain layouts. Access to these areas requires clearing specific Governor General quests, e.g., GG Quest 91 unlocks the crater's west route, and GG Quest 95 unlocks the underground desert. Exploration progresses sequentially. A present quest in EPIV offers rare EPIV weapons obtainable via present exchange tickets. 10 unique weapons are available, each with different attack stats, attributes, and class requirements. Weapons include the Daisy Chain, Leonia Rifle, Gekuin Paltector, Meteor Rouge Launcher, Murasame Agito, PSO 5th Anniversary Sword, Nice Shot Paltector, Jacet Saber, Chushaki Talus, and Kongu Sword. This page is focused on map and quest capture, essentially a guide to understanding area maps in the game. It details how to read the in-game maps, starting with a progress chart showing area connections. It gives an overview of the crater area and underground desert, suggesting preparations are needed for smooth exploration. There's a section on recommended parameters and combat strategies for each class. A large table shows enemy stats for different difficulty levels. The guide also explains area overviews like Underground Desert 1 and 2, focusing on terrain and enemy information. It mentions enemy appearance patterns on maps, and that maps can have up to 3 variations. Finally, there is an icon guide explaining symbols you'll see on the maps, such as damage traps, slow traps, confusion traps, paralysis traps, item boxes, recovery items, player starting point, various types of switches for doors and laser fences, transporters, destructible walls, and poison-resistant rocks. These icons help you navigate and understand the dangers and interactive elements within each area. The next page details how to understand both quest guides and boss guides within the game. For quest guides, it breaks down 6 key elements: quest name, overview detailing terrain and enemy types, enemy count, a flowchart showing the shortest path in key battle areas, a map and shortest route guide, and topics highlighting any special events during the quest. Moving on to boss guides, this section outlines 8 important points. First, an overview of the boss's characteristics is given. Then, you get to see graphics of the 3 main boss types. Next is boss parameters, which are listed by difficulty level, and it notes that resistances are generally maxed out. Following that is attack types and damage, again broken down by difficulty, emphasizing that the listed damage is against a standard defense and will vary based on your level and gear. Preparation focuses on essential defensive measures for boss fights. Necessary parameter guidelines gives target stats to aim for, like ensuring 100% hit rate on normal difficulty, and being able to survive boss attacks, using Konryu as a benchmark. Class-specific strategies suggests attack methods tailored to each class. And finally, the strategy section provides specific steps and patterns for defeating the boss. The page also shows example boss graphics and a flowchart illustrating a typical boss battle progression from start to target. The crater area in Phantasy Star Online Blueburst is an early game location with expansive, straightforward terrain and easily identifiable landmarks. Combat favors multi-target attacks due to enemy groups, recommending swords, shotguns, and rifles for hunters and rangers. Forces should rely on techniques, especially those with mind element, for TP recovery. Class-specific tactics include hunter trap usage and powerful swords, partisans for humans and H-Newman, and rangers spreading shots. Lizard-type enemies require a switch to partisans for rangers. Forces excel with techniques and can use double saber EX attacks for TP regeneration. The page also lists target parameters for different difficulty levels: normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate, and warns players about hazardous cacti. This page focuses on the crater area east route in Phantasy Star Online Blueburst, emphasizing the use of weapons that can hit multiple enemies due to the large groups of Buddha and lizard-type enemies encountered here. It details Pattern 1 for enemy encounters, showing a map of this pattern which is a straightforward path from start to goal, clearly marking enemy locations. The page includes a table listing the specific enemy types and their quantities for Pattern 1. Enemy types include various Buddha forms like Buddha, Z-Buddha, and Ba-Buddha, alongside Sandrapis, Zoo, Astarchs, satellite lizards, Yowie, and even the Dolphin. It's also noted that the listed enemy counts include any rare enemy appearances. This page continues with the Crater East Route Guide, now showcasing Pattern 2 and Pattern 3 for enemy layouts. Looking at Pattern 2, you start at the start point and need to reach the goal. This pattern introduces some mechanics as you progress. Clearing all enemies around Transporter 1 will remove the laser fence blocking it. Defeating all enemies again will make Transporter 4 appear. Activating Switch 3 will remove the laser fence around Transporter 8. Finally, defeating all enemies near the GOL will remove the laser fence, allowing you to finish. Enemy counts are indicated at various points, with icons marked with numbers like X2, X3, X5, X8, X9, X10, X12. Pattern 3 shows another route, again from start to goal. In this pattern, defeating all enemies will remove the laser fence around Transporter 3. Similar to Pattern 2, enemy numbers are marked with icons and numbers like X9, X10, X11, X13, X9 at different locations throughout the map. Both patterns detail enemy placements and conditions to progress through the Crater Area East route, likely involving clearing enemy groups to unlock transporters and reach the goal. This page introduces the Crater Area West route and highlights Pattern 1 as being ideal for maximizing experience gain. It mentions that all enemy patterns are similar, but can be identified quickly by the starting area layout. For Pattern 1 on the West Route map, defeating all enemies is crucial for experience. The map itself shows the route from start to goal and indicates enemy locations with icons and numbers. It also explains that defeating enemies around Switch 2 and item boxes will remove laser fences, granting access to these areas. The page includes a table detailing the enemy counts for Pattern 1, Pattern 2, and Pattern 3, listing enemy types such as Buddha, Z-Buddha, Ba-Buddha, Sandrapi, Zoo, Astarch, Satellite Lizard, Yowie, and Dolphin, to show enemy distribution across these patterns. The next page continues the Crater Area West Route Guide and shows Pattern 2 and Pattern 3 maps. For both patterns, the maps display the route from start to goal, with enemy locations indicated by numbered red triangles and item boxes by numbered gray squares. A note next to both maps explains that defeating all enemies will remove the laser fences surrounding Transporter 4. This page continues the Crater Area South Route Guide, now focusing on Pattern 1. It highlights the importance of recovery device locations, noting they're situated near the goal in both Pattern 1 and 3. The map for Pattern 1 is displayed, showing the route from start to goal, enemy locations marked as numbered red triangles, and item boxes as numbered gray squares. The text points out that while the overall map shape remains consistent across patterns, the start and goal positions, as well as recovery device locations, differ. Be aware that the area just before the goal in Pattern 1 features Dolphin enemies, so prepare for a fight. The page also mentions that Pattern 1 has the highest enemy count within the crater area, though it's still below the overall average. Expect to encounter strong enemy types like Dolphins and Zeus, and be on the lookout for rare enemies such as Claire and Pazuzu. A table summarizes the enemy appearance counts for Patterns 1, 2, and 3, listing various enemy types and their respective numbers for each pattern. The next page introduces Pattern 2 and Pattern 3 for the Crater Area South Route. For Pattern 2, defeating all enemies will remove the laser fence surrounding Transporter 1, and similarly, defeating all enemies again will remove the laser fence around Transporter 2. The map layouts for both Pattern 2 and Pattern 3 are displayed, showing the start and goal points, enemy locations marked by red triangles, and item boxes indicated by gray squares, all numbered. Just like in Pattern 1, these maps illustrate the routes and positions of enemies and items within these patterns of the crater area. The next page details Pattern 1 for the Crater Area North route, focusing on encountering buzzes. Pattern 1 is described as relatively safe because Dolphins don't appear, but it has fewer enemies, making it less ideal for gaining experience points. However, among all crater area routes, the appearance rate of Zs is highest in this pattern. The page advises that if you draw pattern 1, you should aim for rare items. Enemy placement is predictable, allowing for strategic enemy encounters. Narrow passages are present, and enemies are positioned to ambush from behind. Lock-on is recommended for combat. The page includes an enemy appearance table showing counts for pattern 1, pattern 2, and pattern 3 for various enemy types: Buddha, Zebuddha, Babuddha, Sandrappy, Z, Astak, Satellite Lizard, Yui, and Dolphin. Pattern 1. Pattern 1 features high counts of Buddha and Z-Buddha, moderate Satellite Lizard, and no Dolphins. A map of Pattern 1 is also shown, with start and goal points marked. Enemy locations are indicated by red triangles and item boxes by gray squares, each numbered to show quantities. This page shows the maps for Pattern 2 and Pattern 3 of the Crater Area North route. Both patterns display the start and goal points, enemy locations marked by red triangles, and item box locations as gray squares, with numbers indicating the quantity of items. Pattern 3 includes a note stating that if you defeat all enemies in the area, the laser fences around Transporter 2 will be deactivated. These maps appear to be guides for navigating the Crater Area North route and understanding enemy and item placement in different map patterns. This page details the crater interior area, which is notable for having a high number of Dorphon enemies. The map layout is simple, but object placement varies, leading to different routes in each pattern. Pattern 2 is counterclockwise, Pattern 3 is clockwise, and Pattern 1 allows reaching the goal from either direction. This area features strong enemies like Astarte and Zoo types, with Dorphins being particularly common, making it a good spot to hunt Dorphin Claire. Enemies will cross bridges to attack players, and it's advised to evade combat by moving outside their search range. The page includes a table showing enemy counts for each pattern, 1, 2, and 3, listing the number of Booma, Z-Booma, Bar-Booma, Sandrappy, Zoo, Astarte, Satellite Lizard, Yowie, and Dorphin enemies that appear in each pattern. Below the table is the map for Pattern 1, showing the start and goal points, and the layout of the area with bridges. This page illustrates the map layouts for crater interior Patterns 2 and 3. Pattern 2 follows a counterclockwise path to the goal, while Pattern 3 takes a clockwise route. Both patterns require players to defeat all enemies in the area to unlock the laser fence on the bridge leading from the start point, allowing progression to the goal. Pattern 3 specifically highlights an enemy encounter near the starting location, marked with a number 1. This page is an area map for the underground desert in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. It outlines the enemy types you will encounter, such as Goron, Melissa, Giltabiril, Creator, Zoo, Rappy, and Lizard types, which are stronger than before and have long reach. Preparation is key, and flying items and freeze protection are important. For hunters and rangers, guns are recommended due to enemy reach, especially against Goron and Melissa types. The page provides parameters for each difficulty level, suggesting HP and accuracy benchmarks: normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate, with increasing values for each level. For class strategies, hunters should use traps and crowd control techniques with machine guns and swords, and consider using weapons like Rainbow Baton, Rappy Fan, or Rare Slicer. Recommended weapons are handguns or machine guns, partisans, except for androids, and swords, for androids. Rangers should use partisans against lizard types, and machine guns against zoo types. For other enemies, rifles used at a distance are effective, retreating if enemies get too close. Recommended weapons include DM, Devil, charge rifles, partisans against lizards, and machine guns against zoo. Forces can exploit elemental weaknesses against Goron, Zoo, and Rappy types using techniques. For Melissa types, hit and away tactics with Gifoy are advised, and Gibanta is recommended for Giltabiril. Recommended attacks are various support techniques: Rabarta, Razond, Rafoi, and Gibanta, specifically for Giltabiril. The screenshot shows gameplay in Underground Desert 2 and indicates you must clear Underground Desert 1 before proceeding to Desert 2. This page continues the guide for the Underground Desert area, focusing on Underground Desert 1 and how to counter the Goron enemy types. It mentions that just diving in unprepared isn't viable here, and maps will have at least 2 recovery points. The page highlights different enemy patterns that appear in Underground Desert 1, and provides a table detailing the number of each enemy type you'll encounter in Pattern 1, Pattern 2, and Pattern 3. Enemy types listed are Goran, Pilogoran, Goran Detonator, Sandrappy, Melissa A, Zoo, Satellite Lizard, Yowie, and Giltaburil. Below the table is a map of Pattern 1 for Underground Desert 1, marking key locations with numbers and showing enemy placements with symbols and quantities, for example, X4 or X5. The map visually represents the layout and enemy distribution within this specific pattern. This page continues with the map guides for Underground Desert 1 and now shows Pattern 2 and Pattern 3. For both patterns you can see the layout of the area, the starting point, and key numbered locations. Enemy placements are marked with symbols and numbers indicating how many of each enemy type you will encounter, and item box locations and quantities are also displayed. Both maps have an exit point leading to Underground Desert 2. The page is clearly part of the strategy section, specifically focusing on map and quest information, likely as a precursor to data and drop list details. This page details Underground Desert 2, highlighting enemies that use freezing attacks, such as Melissa A and Giltaburil. It mentions that the difficulty increases significantly here, suggesting equipping anti-freeze items like the resist/freeze. The map patterns are determined by the starting location, with Pattern 1 starting in the bottom right small room, Pattern 2 from the central large room, and Pattern 3 from the top right small room. The page then focuses on Pattern 1 specifically, displaying a detailed map layout. This map includes enemy locations marked with icons and numbers, indicating the quantity of each enemy type in that spot. There are also item box locations and quantities shown on the map. Key points are numbered on the map to guide players, including descriptions of what happens at certain points like defeat all enemies for enemies to appear, and defeat all enemies for a transporter to appear. Switch number 5 triggers enemies and opens the laser fence around the transporter to Underground Desert 3 once all enemies are defeated around the transporter area. The page also includes a table showing the number of each enemy type that appears in each map pattern. Pattern 1, Pattern 2, Pattern 3. The enemy types listed are Goran, Pilogoran, Goran Detonator, Sandrappy, Melissa A, Zoa, Satellite Lizard, Yowie, and Giltaburil. It's noted that rare enemy appearances are counted as regular enemy appearances. This page continues with the Underground Desert 2 maps, now showcasing Pattern 2 and Pattern 3. Pattern 2's map highlights points where defeating all enemies will cause more enemies to appear. Crucially, defeating all enemies near the teleporter will remove the laser fence blocking the path to Underground Desert 3. Pattern 3 also details locations where defeating enemies triggers more enemy spawns, and areas where defeating enemies removes laser fences. Both patterns mark enemy locations with icons and numbers indicating how many enemies are present, and also show item box locations with their quantities. This page details the tactics and map for Underground Desert 3, which is described as challenging with numerous traps and strong enemies like Zoo and Melissa types, culminating in a boss battle against Giltaburil. It's recommended to use techniques and traps in addition to normal attacks. The page shows the map for Pattern 1 of Underground Desert 3. The map indicates that by defeating all enemies in certain areas and pressing Switch 4, a boss battle transporter will become active. It also shows locations of Antlion Pit 1 and 2, quicksand areas, and item boxes. A table lists the pattern-specific enemy appearance count, detailing the number of each enemy type that appear in Patterns 1, 2, and 3, including enemies like Goran, Pilogoran, Goran Detonator, Sandrappy, Melissa Ear, Zoo, Satellite Lizard, Yowie, and the boss Giltaburil. This page shows the map layouts for Pattern 2 and Pattern 3 of Underground Desert 3. Pattern 2's map indicates that defeating all enemies will cause Switch 4 to appear, which when pressed will activate the boss transporter. The map highlights locations for Antlion Pit 1 and 2, quicksand and falling rocks, and shows enemy encounters with quantities like X6, X6, and X2. Similarly, Pattern 3's map shows that defeating all enemies will make Switch 2 appear to activate the boss transporter, and also features Antlion Pit 1 and 2, quicksand, and falling rocks areas with enemy encounters indicated by icons and counts like X1 and Antlion Pit 2. Essentially, this page illustrates different map configurations and enemy placements within Underground Desert 3. This page is for the Governor General's quest, following the investigation team. Quest number 91. The objective is to confirm the safety of the investigation team. The story explains that a light beam changed the course of a meteorite that fell on Regal. The government sent an investigation team to the site but lost contact, so hunters are sent to investigate their safety. The page shows a detailed map of the area with numbered points. Point 6 indicates that after defeating all enemies, Karen and Work's soldiers will appear. Speaking to Karen will trigger the appearance of a reporter, who will then be transported to Pioneer 2. Point 2 notes that defeating all enemies will cause a Carrack to appear in front of the laser fence. The map also shows enemy placements indicated by icons and numbers throughout the level. The EPIV Introduction Quest features a straightforward map with a focus on familiarizing players with new enemies. Players should head east, avoiding damage traps near item boxes. The quest involves several combat stages. First, players must clear a large room with various enemies, including Rappies, Boomas, Lizards, and Astarchs. Next, they'll defeat 2 Astarchs individually and deal with confusion traps in a passage. Enemies can be lured to the bridge for easier one-on-one combat. Before the final area, players should resupply. The final area includes a powerful dolphin, which can be defeated by cornering it. Finally, after defeating Dolphin and interacting with Karen, a teleporter spawns, leading to an event with Sue and a forced return to the city, where Irene completes the quest. This page is a walkthrough for Quest 92, titled Investigation Data Recovery Operation, where you need to retrieve data from a lab research team. The story explains that a research team exploring a crater area was attacked by enemies, losing their investigation data. The general government has asked hunters to recover this data before the area is sealed off by the military. The page features a map of the level, showing a path from the start to the goal marked as 5. Along the way, you'll encounter enemies at locations marked 1 through 5. To progress, you'll need to use switches. Switch 1, Switch 2, and Switch 3, which each open laser fences. Some laser fences around item boxes will disappear when you defeat all the enemies nearby. The goal, marked 5, is where you can examine a data terminal to obtain the investigation data. The map also shows item box locations with quantities. For example, an item box with X4 means it contains 4 items. A note at the bottom indicates that enemy icon locations marked 3 all lead towards enemy icon location marked 2, suggesting the flow of enemies in that area is one way. This quest requires cooperation to release a triple fence and retrieve data. Hunters Barney, Ash, and Rupika each control a section. Defeat enemies in their areas to activate switches that release the fences. Talk to each hunter after activating their switch for rewards, which are limited to 1 item per hunter. Expect to face a variety of enemies, including Booma, Z-Booma, Astarch, and Sandrappy, among others. The quest involves a 5-step process, including activating teleporters and switches in each area. A speed clear event unlocks if all fences are released within 15 minutes, allowing Sue to collect additional data. Divide your party for quicker completion. The quest concludes after collecting data in the final area and reporting to Irene. Reverser items cannot be used in the final area. This page is about the Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Quest 93, titled Reality and Truth, a Governor General's Office quest where mid-quest joining is possible. The goal is to secure the safety of the south route in the crater periphery. The story mentions that during a previous mission, Barney and Ash lost sight of Rupika, and she was taken by someone. The page displays a map of the Dark Zone area for this quest, showing the route from start to goal through numbered areas 1 to 4. Barney and Ash are marked on the map. There are notes indicating that defeating all enemies in Area 1 will spawn Karen, Gilliam, and a teleporter. Additionally, defeating enemies around teleporters 2 and 4 will remove the laser fences surrounding them. The map also indicates enemy and item locations throughout the area. The zoo and a large number of Babutha appear. Quest in the Reality and Truth section takes place in a dark environment with reduced visibility. Players must navigate east and west routes, fighting numerous enemies, including the long-range attacking Babutha and tougher zoo enemies. The quest progresses in 4 stages. Initially, players clear starting enemies. Then, they battle through a dark cactus forest, with stronger zoo enemies appearing later. Next, players clear enemies in both east and west routes to unlock the final area. Finally, players must defeat all enemies in Area 4, a challenging zone with a mix of strong enemy types. A 15-minute time limit exists in the final area to trigger a hidden event, which requires the party to remain at full size. Lowering the difficulty is suggested for solo players. Screenshots depict combat in the Dark Zone, and and the final encounter with Karen and Gilliam. This page details the 94 Pursuit Quest, a general government quest set in the ruins. The story involves tracking down Leo Greyheart, who was under the general government's protection, but has fled to the crater interior. The map is split into two sections, the crater perimeter, north route, and the crater interior. Starting in the crater perimeter, at point 1, you need to defeat all enemies to make Karrick appear. Point 2 leads into the crater interior. Once inside the crater interior, your party leader starts at point A, with other members spawning at points B, C, and D. Near point C is the transporter to the north route, pair. At point 3, you'll encounter W-Work soldiers after defeating enemies, and you can pay them 1,000 Meseta for information. At point 4, defeating enemies triggers the appearance of Ashu. Finally, at point 5, defeating all enemies will make Sol appear. Yes. If you've spoken to him twice and answering yes to his question will make a transporter appear. The goal area is marked as point D. This guide outlines the north route for the pursuit quest, focusing on enemy encounters and progression within the crater interior. Key enemies include Buma, Zoo, satellite lizards, and stronger foes like Babuma and Dolphon in the final area. The quest involves 5 steps: defeating a Zoo, giving intel to a work soldier, costing Meseta depending on difficulty, optionally gaining information from a soldier, fixed at 1,000 Meseta, carefully handling 2 simultaneous Zoo enemies, and pursuing Leo and R. Lupicas. Strong techniques like Rafoi are unusable in the final area. Failure to pursue leads to an escape. The guide also details a topic section, which allows you to exchange photodrops with work soldiers, 4 required, to learn more about Lupica and the story, particularly when the Ragul ring is equipped. The next page details the 95 quest, The Chosen One, Part 1, a Governor General quest that is joinable mid-quest. The objective is to bring back Rupica, who has disappeared into the crater underground. The story explains that hunters had cornered Leo and Rupica inside the crater, but they escaped into the underground desert. The Governor General requests the hunters to continue the pursuit and rescue Rupica from Leo. The map is divided into 2 sections, Crater Interior and Underground Desert 1. In the Crater Interior, starting at the start point, you progress through numbered areas. Area 1. Defeat all enemies to make Ash appear. Area 2. Defeat all enemies to make work soldiers appear. The path leads downwards to Underground Desert 1. In Underground Desert 1, the goal is marked. Area near goal. Talk to Montague to open the gate. Area 4. Defeat all enemies to make Montague and Elnolt appear. This area is noted as being underneath the Benist. Area with Barney icon. Barney is located here. Area with Karrick icon. Karrick is located here. There are also areas marked as falling rocks. Throughout the map, item boxes are indicated with numbers like ×14, ×8, ×7, ×1, ×3, ×17, ×4, ×6, ×11, ×2, ×5, ×4. Enemies encountered include WRKS soldiers. The A New Enemy Blocks the Way quest guides players through the crater and underground desert 1. Players should utilize the PC for enemy analysis, as the rare enemy Melissa AA has an increased spawn chance during this quest. The quest follows a 5-step flowchart. Players choose between west and north routes in the crater. Underground Desert 1 features poison fog, requiring the use of safe zones. Players fight satellite lizards in the 4th wave with melee weapons, and find a recovery device. In the crater-shaped area, defeating all enemies triggers the appearance of Montague and Elnolt, and unlocking the lock increases chances to encounter Melissa A. The final passage includes ambush encounters. Melissa AA spawns more frequently if all enemies in the crater area are defeated within 5 minutes. The guide provides a list of enemies encountered in each area. This page details the Chosen One, Latter Part, quest, mission number 96, where you can join mid-quest to protect the missing Rupica. The story explains Rupica was taken by Leo and is now in the underground desert depths. The government, aware of black paper and works involvement, tasks hunters with protecting Rupica. The map outlines the area, starting at point 1 and leading to the GOL at point 7, where Rupica and Barney are located. Along the way at point 3 you encounter Ashu, and at point 4, Karen and Gilliam. The map shows enemy placements marked with red triangles and item boxes. Defeating all enemies triggers Montague and Elnault to appear, unlocking the path forward. Talking to Montague and Elnault at location 5 opens the door. Item drops indicated are Monomates X7, Dimates X1, Trimates X2, Star Atomizers X3, and Trap Vision X4. Notes at the bottom clarify that Ryuker cannot be used in the central and final areas, and in the central area, the downwards-facing red triangles and upwards-facing blue triangles indicate one-way passages. This walkthrough details the central maze of the Chosen One, latter part, quest, known for its complex gimmicks. Players will encounter various enemies like Gorons, zoos, and guild tables. The maze is broken into 3 parts, each with switch combinations and transporter usage. Part 1 requires red and blue switch manipulation to reach the south door. Part 2 involves green and blue switches with specific transporter usage. Part 3 features a purple switch. After defeating enemies, Karen and Gilliam provide a password, Heaven, to unlock a door, though the door will open regardless. Players are advised to create shortcuts and are warned against using Ryukers in this area. The final section involves defeating Guild Table and protecting Rupika, triggering conversations with Barney and Rupika. This page details the Remnants of the Depths quest, number 97, where the objective is to collect meteorite fragments. The story explains that after protecting Rupinaka, the Governor General's office believes meteorites are the source of recent disasters, and has started an investigation into the deepest part of the underground desert to collect fragments and study enemies. The page presents a map of the quest area, starting at location 1 and leading to the goal at location 4. Along the path you'll find areas like Antlion Pit 1 and 2, Bee Nest, and Quicksand. Characters like Montague, Eleanor, Karen, Barney, and Ash are marked on the map. There are item boxes indicated by gray squares with numbers, and a note near the goal states that 11 item boxes will appear after defeating Giltabril. Another note near location 5 indicates that defeating all enemies in that area will activate a transporter. The Remnants of the Depths quest in Underground Desert 3 requires defeating the Giltabril and collecting meteorite fragments. The area features common enemies like Zoo and Sand Rappies, with rarer spawns like Pazuzu and Del Rappies. Beware of environmental hazards such as antlion pits and quicksand. The quest involves a timed sequence. Collect items, activate a switch to open a south door for a limited time, navigate narrow paths with fireballs while fighting enemies, activate lights in the antlion pit areas. Finally, defeat the Giltabril in a crowded area, Resta, Ryuker disabled, and collect a fragment. A hidden event occurs if the final area is cleared within 20 minutes, with the party intact, potentially triggered easier with more players. This involves Rupika being taken away by Leo. Bring healing items and avoid returning to the lobby to save time. This page details the MAP and quest section, focusing on Quest 98 titled, At the End of Wandering Time, also known as the Governor General's Office quest, where mid-quest participation is possible. The story summary explains that players must protect Rupika from Leo and thwart his ambitions. This mission is a follow-up, as Rupika was previously rescued from Leo but disappeared again while collecting meteorite fragments. The main feature is a map of the underground desert divided into 3 zones, Underground Desert 1, 2, and 3. The map outlines a path from the start in Underground Desert 1, progressing through zones 2 and 3, ultimately leading to a boss battle against Leo in Underground Desert 3. Alongside Leo, the bosses Montague and Eleanor are also mentioned. The map highlights area names such as Poison Mist Room, Darkness Room, Antlion Pit, and Quicksand, indicating environmental challenges. Enemy locations are marked with icons and numbers, indicating enemy counts in specific areas. A note on the map near Area 3 in Underground Desert 2 mentions the ability to remove darkness in an area 2 zones ahead. This quest walkthrough details how to reach and defeat the boss, Santamillion, in the Underground Desert. Designed for Episode 4 and best played with multiple people, it's a quick route to the area's deepest point, making it ideal for farming rare boss items. The quest involves navigating 3 zones. Underground Desert 1 requires utilizing a safe zone to avoid poison mist. Underground Desert 2 emphasizes fighting near the cliff edge for strategic advantage. In Underground Desert 3, players must use trap vision near the Antlion Pit to avoid mines and proceed west to the boss. After an event, a transporter appears to the Saint-Emilion boss room. Key advice includes item distribution before entering the boss room, as returning after death prevents item recovery without relogging. Defeating Saint-Emilion teleports you back to the lobby. The To the Core of Calamity quest sees hunters unknowingly assisting Works in investigating a meteor crash. The quest map spans zones 1 to 6, featuring areas like Crater Surroundings, Underground Desert 3, and Crater Interior, leading to a boss fight. Progress involves deactivating laser fences, either through button presses, requiring a 4-player party in some zones, or by defeating enemies. Gilliam can trigger transporters and open sealed walls, particularly in the dark room, where a 4-player gimmick is required. Talking to Work soldiers removes time constraints and activates the final transporter. Throughout the quest, players can find item drops in various zones, with specific quantities and types indicated on the map, including boxes, weapons, and monomates. This flowchart details the To the Core of Calamity quest, focusing on completion within 30 minutes. The quest begins by teleporting to the crater, starting the timer. The objective is to reach Underground Desert 3 and defeat the boss within the time limit. Following the shortest route, avoiding unnecessary combat with enemies like Booma and lizards is recommended. Key steps involve a sealed area branching point requiring teamwork. A 4-person party is necessary for the central transporter. The route converges towards the crater interior, with Dolphin rushes being a danger. Clearing the sealed area unlocks a bridge with laser fences, ideal for training if time allows. Another branch offers west or south sealed area routes. The south route, guarded by Gilliams, requires a 4-person party to open a gate to the final sealed area. Speaking to a W-Work soldier triggers the boss battle, where the time limit is no longer a factor. Escape options are available via Roycanar or Telepipe if locked in. Placing a teleporter is suggested for post-boss exploration. This page is about boss strategies in Episode 4, specifically for the To the Core of Calamity quest, likely detailed on the previous page. It highlights that there are 3 types of bosses you'll encounter. Saint-Emilion is the boss for the main Governor General quest, Champoltan is for team-only quests, and Condrieu is a rare boss variant. Although there are 3 types, they are essentially the same enemy with different stats, Condrieu being the strongest rare version. It also notes that boss appearances are consistent even on ultimate difficulty, so if you've fought them in earlier episodes, they won't be different here in terms of their base form. The page then shows images of Saint-Emilion, Champoltan, and Condrieu, visually representing these 3 boss types. To defeat the laser-wielding, resilient boss, prioritize high HP, ranged weapons, and physical defense. Hunters should use twin sabers and machine guns. Rangers, machine guns, and rifles with dark or hit attributes, and elemental attributes like Dorphin, Charge, or Spirit are beneficial. Forces need to support with Shifta, Debond, Jellin, Zalur, Resta, and use machine guns. The fight has 2 phases. Phase 1 in the large room requires destroying 4 tail orbs. Phase 2 alternates between a smaller room, 2A, destroy 1 head orb, and the large room, 2B, destroy the final 4 head orbs. Attack patterns include Tentacles, Rush, Rabarda, Dragon Wave, Guided Missile, Laser, and Heaven Strike. HP and hit power recommendations vary by difficulty level, normal to ultimate. A map details the arena layout. This guide details a multi-phase boss battle. Phase 1 involves destroying red tentacles to expose and destroy 4 orbs on the boss's tail. Prioritize red tentacles over harmless white or less effective yellow ones. Phase 2 has 2 variations. Phase 2A requires attacking the boss's head orb from the corners of a smaller, randomly selected room while avoiding attacks. Phase 2B, back in the main room, focuses on avoiding laser attacks by circling the boss to its side, using the map for positioning. Ignore guided missiles and spread out if tentacles appear. Use pillars for cover. Screenshots are included showcasing gameplay and UI elements. This guide details the Control Tower quests in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. These 10-floor dungeons offer mission-based gameplay and introduce new enemies. Del Lily, Urgil, and Epsilon. Players can enhance ES weapons by collecting data and using photon drops. Upgrading ES weapons involves ranks, D to S, requiring increasing amounts of photon drops. S-rank upgrades provide Jellin or Zalur effects. A-rank offers Arrest, Hell, or Demon. B-rank offers Verse, Spirit, King, Chaos, Gush, or Geist. C-rank offers Burning, Tempest, or Blizzard. And D-rank offers HP or TP Revive. The guide's gameplay screenshot shows combat, UI elements, and a variety of items like scape dolls and traps, alongside enemy-type information such as A-Beast and Dark. The next page showcases character illustrations from Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst, Episode 2I. The page title 3 Data, in English and Japanese, highlights data related to the game. Featured are 3 characters in distinct attire and weaponry. On the left, a character in yellow robes wielding a staff. In the center, a red-armored character with rabbiteer-like headgear holding a handgun. And on the right, an orange and blue armored character carrying a large axe. Episode 4 of Phantasy Star Online introduces 38 new rare weapons, including level 12 items. Collecting these rare weapons is a key gameplay element. The guide provides detailed information about each weapon, using the PSO 5th Anniversary Memorial Sword as an example. This information is categorized into 13 sections: system, weapon name, rare level, comment and explanation, including in-game flavor text and guide notes, obtainable ID, difficulty, equipable characters, attack power, equipment conditions, maximum grind, hit, X, extra attack effects, and remarks, special or set effects. This structure helps players understand each weapon's characteristics, drop locations, and usability. Players are encouraged to use drop tables to locate their desired items. This page showcases a selection of rare saber-type weapons from Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. Starting with the PSO 5th Anniversary Memorial Sword, it's described as a commemorative item designed for hunters, with an elegant blade inscribed with text, and recommended for female forces due to its balanced stats of defense and mental strength. Next is Excalibur, a powerful saber that unleashes hidden power, boasting high attack power, though consuming HP to amplify damage. It's noted to have 3 simultaneous attacks, and is a very strong saber. Then there's the Owner's Saber, a master-crafted weapon said to be imbued with authority. It's a team-oriented weapon, exclusively for masters, and its ability enhances the team, improving hit rate during party play. Following is Kusanagi, a symbolically designed saber, known for its striking appearance. It offers high attack power and hit rate, further amplified when paired with the Yata Mirror and Yata Beads, increasing attack speed. Lastly, we have Jouet, a weapon effective against enemies attempting to evade, ensuring reliable hits. It excels in saber's motion, especially useful in nether areas, making it a niche but valuable item. Each weapon entry also lists details like attack power ranges, maximum grind levels, hit values, EKEX special attack types, and equip conditions, as well as the difficulty levels where they can be obtained: normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate. The equipable classes for all these sabers are Hunter, Ranger, Force, and Android. The page showcases various weapons beyond sabers. The Lambda Dagger John, a silver saber, evolves into Excalibur after defeating 10,000 enemies on normal. Akiko Obasan's kitchen knife is a humorous, multi-target saber. The Kanzuchi, a dark element hammer, offers surprising power. The Daisy Chain Dagger inflicts confusion but can't be upgraded. The Flapjack Flapper Dagger drains HP and has a dark-focused EX attack. Lastly, the Raishu, or Spirit Spear, a powerful partisan with a blue dragon design, boosts attack at the cost of HP, with a Berserk EX attack. Each weapon has detailed stats, obtainable difficulty levels, normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate, and class compatibility: Hunter, Ranger, Force, and Android. This page continues showcasing rare weapons, focusing on partisans and slicers. First up are partisans. The partisan is a standard, reliable weapon obtainable through item exchange and usable by all classes, making it a good all-rounder. The partisan is designed like a snake, excelling in special attacks, and boasting a high chance of instant death in very hard to extra difficulties. Partisan is ice-themed, emphasizing high attack power and accuracy, particularly strong in normal difficulty. Partisan, a bamboo spear type, can unleash Kai, boosting attack and evasion, and is spirit elemental and powerful in extra difficulty. Lastly, for partisans, the Umbia is described as more of a novelty item, not very practical, but perhaps a symbol of something, and it has a soul eater function. Moving on to slicers. The M, or Zealot Slicer, has a long blade and a special attack that reduces HP, but it compensates with high attack power and is particularly effective against Darkmons on extra difficulty. This page highlights rare weapons. The Vivian Double Saber is designed for female characters, absorbing TP, and suited for frontline combat. Daylight Scarclaws wield 6 photon blades that deal high damage at the cost of HP. The Agito series includes the Gurin, Crimson Lotus, with fire-based attacks and higher accuracy than its counterpart, the Seirin. The Seirin, Azure Lotus, uses ice-based attacks, outperforming the Gurin in attack and accuracy. Combining the two creates the Musashi series. The Murasame, obtained through item exchange, offers an instant death special attack. Lastly, the Jizai Musashi, the strongest in the series, also has an instant death attack, high attack power, and provides stat boosts. This guide expands on rare weapon acquisition, detailing 4 weapons. The Sacred Duster, a fast knuckle type, excels against seals. The Ophelices, a compact handgun for female characters, boosts mental strength and can evolve. The Heaven Striker, a military-designed handgun with a Berserk X attack, further enhances mental strength and attack power with striker units. The Leonia, a reliable rifle with high attack and hit rate, is suitable for rear-attacking rangers. Each listing provides stats, including attack power, hit rate, and drop locations. Normal to ultimate difficulty. The guide advises players on efficient rare item farming, emphasizing the low drop rates. Players should use drop tables to identify enemy sources and target specific enemies in areas with high enemy frequency. This focused, though potentially repetitive, approach maximizes rare item acquisition. This page shows a breakdown of various weapon types and specific weapons within Phantasy Star Online Blueburst. It highlights machine guns like the Milmarl, noted for its high attack but challenging maintenance, and the La Joue de Fée, a stylish blue machine gun with a burning X attack effective against heavily armored enemies. Moving to launchers, the Canon Rouge is presented as a powerful red launcher with a Chaos X effect, ideal for crowd control. The Meteorus is a launcher designed for male characters, featuring a Demon X attack and area damage. The page also features the Cleao, a unique cane-type weapon with very high physical attack power, boosting Zalure and grants. Finally, the Glide Devian is introduced as a blue magic rod, though its EX attack effect is still unknown, but overall seems geared towards defense and mental strength. These weapons appear to be high-tier options in the game, each with unique attributes and EX attacks. This page continues showcasing rare weapons in Phantasy Star Online Blueburst. We see the Seirin Glass Hammer, a rod described as a beautiful rod adorned with jewels, boasting high mental power and enhancing the Jabarda technique. It requires a mental power stat of 900 to equip. Next is Zolfalino, a wand with photon blades at both ends, designed for continuous casting of the Resta technique. It requires 850 mental power to equip, and its EX attack is Resta. It enhances Resta range and attack speed, also providing a mental power boost. Then there's the Kane Tsuho, a talus shaped like an old coin, meant for offensive use. It has a base attack of 1, and its EX attack is Charge. It's mentioned that while its attack power is low, the damage multiplier is significant. Lastly, we have the Injection Needle, a shots weapon described as unusual, and its effectiveness varies depending on the user. It's noted to be suitable for female characters and can be obtained as a present item, granting a mental power bonus of +5. Its EX attack is King, and it requires 412 attack power to equip. This page details rare protector data in Phantasy Star Online Blueburst. It mentions there are 38 types of rare protectors, including armor and shields, some of which may have unknown acquisition methods as of May 2005 or are planned for future updates, indicated by a lack of color on their obtainable ID. The page highlights the importance of set effects between new rare protectors and existing rare weapons. It shows a screenshot with a note about unusual armor that can increase attack speed. Then it breaks down how to read the rare protector data using Akaito Odoshi Yoroi Maru as an example, which is a type of armor. The information includes the protector system, armor or shield, the name, the rare level, up to 12 stars total, obtainable IDs, colored IDs mean it can be obtained, difficulty levels, normal, very hard, hard, ultimate, equipable characters, colored icons mean they can equip it, required level to equip, defense and evade power stats with maximum added values, elemental resistances, fire, ice, thunder, light, and remarks about special abilities. In this case, an attack speed increase of +0.2 for the Akaito Odoshi Yoroi Maru. This particular armor is level 7, has a base defense of 101 potentially reaching 112, base evade of 8 potentially reaching 12, and offers 2 resistance to fire, ice, thunder, and light, and is obtainable across all IDs and difficulty levels for all character classes. The next page continues the rare protector data, listing more rare armor and shields in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. We can see details for items like the Akaito Odoshi Yoroi Maru, Ignition Cloak, Wedding Dress, Contaminated Life-Saving Body Armor, Curse Cloak, Canvier Cloak, Space Maneuver Soldier Outerwear, Space Maneuver Soldier 32nd Division Lieutenant Uniform, Space Maneuver Soldier Lieutenant Outerwear, Crimson Coat, and Kuroito Odoshi Shurushi Okegawa Nimai Dao. For each item you can see the stats such as defense and evasion values, elemental resistances, level requirements, which characters can equip them, and any special remarks, like the Ignition Cloak boosting foi, Gifwa and Rafoi damage, or the Curse Cloak allowing Megid to penetrate enemies. The page shows a variety of protectors with different strengths and abilities. This page continues the Rare Protector data section, showcasing more rare armor in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. Here we have details on items such as the Kuroito Odoshi Yoroi Maru, which boosts attack speed, Chloe's Sweater, the Konito Odoshi Murasaki Nuri Okegawa Nimai Dao, and 13. We also see the Sweetheart, which has set bonuses, the Star Cuirass, the Spirit Cuirass, which recovers TP, and the Tempest Cloak, which enhances grants damage. For each of these items, you can see the level requirement to equip them, their defense and evasion stats, elemental resistances, which character classes can use them, and special notes about their unique properties and set bonuses. The next page continues showing rare protector data with more armor details. It features items like the Transvestite Plate, Blackhound Cuirass, Mother Garb, and Mother Garb Plus. There's also the Morning Player, Revival Cuirass, Red Coat, Allied Phalanx Military Uniform, Allied Phalanx Commander Military Uniform, and Allied Phalanx Superior Soldier Military Uniform. For each armor piece you can see the level requirement to equip it, their defense and evasion stats, and elemental resistances. It also shows which character classes can equip each item and special notes such as set bonuses or unique abilities. The difficulty levels where these items can be obtained are also indicated as normal, hard, very hard, and ultimate. This page continues the rare armor showcase, focusing on rear armor units. You'll find stats for 6 different rare rear units: Garancia, Striker Plus, Tripolic Reflector, Hachi Mirror, Regenerate Gear BP, and Rupica. For each unit, the page details the level requirement to equip it, defense and evasion values, and elemental resistances against fire, ice, lightning, dark, and light. It also indicates the difficulty levels where you can find these items, ranging from normal to ultimate. You can see which classes can equip each unit with icons representing Hunter, Ranger, and Force. There are notes for some of the units. For example, the Striker Plus has a set bonus with the Heaven Striker weapon that increases evasion by 50. The Tripolic Reflector nullifies damage from techniques from time to time. The Regenerate Gear BP recovers 2% of TP when guarding. Rupica increases hit points and TP by 30, and attack speed by 0.2 when equipped with a shield and at close range. This page introduces newly added units for the game, expanding player choices, and offering unique capabilities exceeding even God/O level units, particularly the Heavenly series from Episode 4. These new units can significantly enhance combat strategies by offering a attack speed plus 0.3 boost. The page lists several new unit types added in EPIV. Some notable units include V101, V501, V502, Focus on Extra Attack Success, V801, Shortens Technique Casting Time, Adept, Boosts various resistances and reduces TP consumption. Knight's Heart, transforms into Saint's Proof after defeating 20,000 enemies while equipped. Saint's Proof, a powerful unit that boosts hit and evasion when equipped with certain weapon types like sabers, swords, and slicers. Smart Link, provides hit rate correction for long-range attacks when a hunter or force equips it. Centurion/ability, Heavenly/ability, Heavenly Spattle, increase attack power and hit rate. Diva Protection, provides resistance to light and dark elements and doubles luck when the last digit of the internet time is an odd number. Heavenly Series, Arm, Power, Body, Mind, Luck, Legs, provides significant stat boosts to hit points, attack, defense, mind, luck, and evasion respectively. 8. Trigram Jade. Increases hit rate when set with grass-type weapons. Limiter. Provides significant stat reductions to various parameters like attack, hit rate, all resistances, and defense, and transforms into Adept after defeating 20,000 enemies while equipped. The page provides a table detailing each unit's name, rarity level, stat variation, and a brief description of its effects. Episode 4 introduces 4 new synthetic rare mags: Striker, Telpsis, Pionia, and Rappy, designed for specific units. These fast-growing, non-battle-active mags offer unique effects. The page outlines a feeding pattern detailing how different food items affect the mag's stats. To synthesize these mags, a level 50+ mag and specific items are required. Striker needs a Galda and Heaven Striker coating. Telpsis requires a Karma and Dragon Scale. Pionia needs Pionia parts, and Rappy needs Rappy Beak. Each mag has unique triggers. Striker triggers Resta, and, with the Heaven Striker set, grants the Tenchu EX attack. Telpsis triggers invincibility, and, with the Excalibur set, increases attack speed. Pionia activates Resta and invincibility. Rappy triggers Resta under various conditions. This page showcases character artwork from Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst, Episode 4, and the text indicates it is page 4, titled Drop List, which is also written in Japanese. 3 characters are featured here: a female character in a white and blue suit in the foreground, a male character in a red suit behind to the right, and a female character in blue and white robes wielding a staff behind to the left. The next page explains section IDs in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst, detailing how they significantly influence rare item drops depending on your character's section ID. It then explains how to calculate your ID. The page lists the steps to calculate your section ID, starting with finding the Unicode values of the characters in your character's name and converting them to hexadecimal. It also mentions adding a value based on your chosen class from Table 1 Job Correspondence Table, and adding a value of 83 if you are using full-width characters, or 45 for half-width characters. Finally, the section ID is determined from the ones digit of the final sum using Table 2 ID Correspondence Table. An example calculation is provided using the name RAP-P as a FOMAR, resulting in the section IDSKYLY. Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst's section IDs significantly impact item drops. Each of the 10 IDs, Viridia, Greenil, Skyly, Blueful, Purplenum, Pinkle, Redria, Oran, Yellowbows, and Whittle, favors specific weapon types, influencing drop rates and the likelihood of finding certain rare items. Viridia favors rangers with common shot weapons and the element attribute. Greenil is rifle-focused, with common rifles and attack power. Skyly favors swords and rifles, with the photon attribute being common. Yellowbows offers balanced drops for diverse weapon types. Whittle focuses on slicers and the potential for Rico-related items. Each ID also has unique rare items, some exclusive to that ID. Knowing these characteristics is crucial for players seeking specific weapons or attributes. This page is about drop items in Episode 4 of Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst, and introduces drop tables to help players find rare items. It explains how to read these tables, which are categorized by section ID and difficulty. The page details 4 key things to understand in the drop tables. First, the table shows the conditions, like the episode and enemy type, along with the difficulty level. Secondly, it lists the enemies, or areas where items can drop. Thirdly, it indicates the player's section ID that's relevant for drops. This is the leader's ID in a party. Finally, it lists the rare item names and their drop ranks, from SS being the rarest to F being less rare. The colors in the table tell you the item type. Yellow is for weapons, blue for armor, green for tools, and red writing means the item is limited to a specific section ID. The page also explains how to use the Rare Item Reverse Lookup table. You start by picking the item you want, and then you look at your section ID to see where that item might drop. This table is specifically for weapons, armor, and units that appear in Episode 4. The notations and brackets like N, H, and U show the difficulty levels: normal, hard, and ultimate. The page provides tables showing item drops from various enemies in Episode 4, organized by the 10 different section IDs and difficulty levels. This chart details character relationships in Episode 4. The Hunters Guild features Bernie, a veteran hunter partnered with Ash Kanan, a less experienced hunter from the Governor General's office, both tasked with protecting Lupica, a noble and sole survivor of a past tragedy, is targeted by Leo Greyheart for the works plan. On Pioneer 2, Giancarlo Montague, a missing scientist, is secretly aiding Lupica due to his involvement with the Mother Plan. Eleanor Camuel, an advanced android created by Montague, also disappeared. The chart highlights the relationships. Bernie and Ash protect Lupica, Montague aids her, and the Governor General's office investigates while the military and lab are in conflict. Lupica is central to the larger plot. The next page dives into the works and black paper groups who are trying to obstruct a certain plan. We see profiles for Leo Greyheart, Karen Greyheart, and Gilliam in works, and Sue and Kurik in black paper. It seems these groups are working together to stop this plan, and are connected to the Homestar Coral government. Below this, there's a table listing the main characters and the quests they appear in during episodes 1 and 2. Characters like Lupica, Bernie, Ash and Kanan, Kurik, Giancarlo Montague, Eleanor Camuel, Sue, and Leo Greyheart are all listed with the quest names they are involved in, giving you an idea of where you'll encounter these characters throughout the game's story. The next page is the glossary, breaking down some of the key terms you'll encounter in Phantasy Star Online. It starts with emotional AI, which is used in MAGs and battle androids to manage emotions. Then it covers Dark False, the recurring big bad that appears every 1,000 years and is central to the story in both episodes 1 and 2. Timu is described as the military's technology division, connected to Leo Greyheart's father and involved in the Heaven Striker incident, and the shady black paper group we saw on the previous page. The D factor is mentioned as a mysterious aspect of photon technology that's hard to understand. Techniques are defined as the magic system, using photon energy and mental power. Natasha Milrose is introduced as the lab chief of Pioneer 2 Labo, who works for the Homestar government. There's also the Knee Claw, a weapon referencing older Phantasy Star games, which is really rare. The glossary explains Pioneer 1 as the first emigration fleet sent out for exploration and development, and Pioneer 2 as the second fleet mainly for civilian migration. Finally, it touches on the Pioneer 2 military force, which is smaller than Pioneer 1's, and the Pioneer 2 general government, the organization overseeing Pioneer 2 and keeping an eye on Regal, investigating anything suspicious. This glossary explains key terms in Phantasy Star Online. Pioneer 2 Lab analyzes Regal, evolving from military influence to independence. The Pioneer Plan was a mass emigration effort to Regal, spurred by Coral's decline. A cryptic poem, From Beyond the Time of Passing, hints at recurring disasters. Skullclaw, though absent, influenced game design. Photon energy revolutionized power, leading to conflict. Black Paper controls Coral's underworld and works for the 10-Nation Alliance. The Heaven Striker plan sought powerful weapons, potentially needing Lupica's D-Factor ability. Planet Coral, the migrant's origin, faces environmental collapse. The Mother Plan, using D-Factor for military purposes, is also called the Eleanor Plan. Lupica, a neo-Newman, is being protected by a Pioneer 2 investigation organization. WRKS, a powerful military unit, was weakened by government maneuvers. Finally, Planet Regal, chosen for its habitability, photon energy, and D-Factor presence, became the destination of the Pioneer Plan. This page provides the publication details for the Phantasy Star Online Blueburst Master's Guide Episode 4. It was the first edition, published on June 10, 2005. The page lists the staff involved in creating the book, including composition and writing by members of QBIST and individual names, text and cover design also by QBIST, and map creation by D Studio. Printing and binding were handled by Kyoritsu Printing Company. Limited Sega provided cooperation. The publisher is listed as SoftBank Publishing Inc., with their address and 2 telephone numbers for sales and editing inquiries. Copyright information indicates copyrights to Sega from 2000 and 2005, and SoftBank Publishing Inc. The ISBN and printed in Japan are also mentioned. Finally, there are legal disclaimers about book defects, pricing, unauthorized reproduction, and instructions for inquiries, along with a website address and a note that the book's content is based on game data from May 2005, and that game updates may cause discrepancies. This page is the title page for the Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Episode 4 Guidebook. The title, Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Episode 4, is prominently displayed in the center of the page. To the right, you can see an illustration of a character, likely from the game, holding a weapon. At the top left, it shows the publisher, SoftBank Publishing, and at the bottom left, the copyright information for Sega, 2000 and 2005 is noted. This page showcases the Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Masters Guide for Episode 4. The page features an illustration of key characters from the game in a dynamic group shot below the artwork. The title, Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Masters Guide Episode 4, is written in Japanese. Beneath the title, there's a long list of in-game item names, seemingly weapons and equipment available in the game. It gives a good overview of some of the items players can expect to find. The next page shows the back cover of the Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Masters Guidebook, published by SoftBank Publishing. It includes the ISBN, the price of 1,800 yen plus tax, and 2 barcodes. The Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst Episode 4 logo is also visible, and at the bottom there is the copyright information for Sega from 2000 and 2005.